Mr. Peter Mann had a huge passion of being a teacher. However, the disease brought many difficulties to his life. Now, let's go into his life and find out how did he overcome all these difficulties and what is his life like currently. Let's start off the journey with the pictures on his wall in the office.
Yes, I had walking pneumonia 3 years ago, and I was out of my this room for 3 days, and two of my instructional support students, Natalie and Kira, with the substitute teacher here, decorated my entire wall. So yes, they took various pictures of us going down to when we were at Full Belly, at prom, just other pictures that they just put up. I have some group pictures of the trips that I've taken with students. I have Mrs. Hunter's two adorable children, William and Harper. I just have a few other pictures of kids that I've taught over the years, and they put their pictures up.
Miami is a great place with fantastic weather. There people go traveling every single year. But that's when the nightmare began.
When I was in the hospital, I got sick in Miami. I was coming off of a cruise with some students, and that's my doctor basically said, you can't come home to Wolfboro because we don't have a neurologist on staff. So I spent my first 2 weeks with this illness in Miami, and they all came down one at a time to space things out, and it was tough for a while. I mean, I didn't really understand what I was going through myself. I'd never been in a hospital, never really been sick at all. So I didn't understand. And the doctor said, generally it takes 6 months to 6 years and you should be fine, except in 5% of the cases. And with my luck, I fell into the 5% of the cases. So 2 years after I was diagnosed, they did more testing and there was no regeneration of the nerves. So that's the way it was. That's the way it is. And as I said, I try to live life as normal as I possibly can.
He has been teaching in Wolfboro for a long while before he got diagnosed. When we asked him how did the disease impact his education life, he answered,
My teaching was impacted, as you asked, by this illness. I was teaching at the middle school down the road. I had approximately 140 kids every single day. So, but I really, really wanted to get back into the classroom because I was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré in August, and I didn't get back into my classroom until, I want to say, end of October. So, and I was not even allowed a full day in the room. I had to have half day, and then I had to sub a former student of mine teach my 7th grade, and I taught my 8th grade. What a friend of mine did was, because I was still in a wheelchair at that point, we put marks on the floor so that the tables all had to go in the marks so that I could get behind the students in my wheelchair. There was enough room to go ahead and do that, but they all had to keep their book bags under the chairs and allow, so I could roll behind them in the chair. Writing on the board was a little problematic in the fact that I could only be out of the wheelchair for a little while before I tired, and so therefore, I came up with things on transparencies, which is before your time probably, and so I put those on the board so that way the kids could work, and I wanted to impact them as little as I possibly could so that I could get on with their education. Part of my illness is my proprioception, which is my inability to know where my arm is in space if I'm not looking at it. So, for example, Hunter, if you were misbehaving and I was coming around the back in the wheelchair, you'd never know whether my hand hit you the backside of the head on purpose or accidentally, because I could say, bad hand. I just didn't know what my hand was doing. So there were little games I'd play, or if the kids stuck out their foot when I was rolling through the halls, I'd run over it on purpose and go speed bump, just little things like that. So, yes, I tried to get on with my life in education as much as I possibly could, because that was the most important part of my life.
Okay.
Terrible disease brought really bad impact to educational life.
Because
So what
that's my
made him
passion.
to decide still
Um,
be a teacher?
but this is the job that I have, and I still love it. Um, the disadvantage is it's not my class. I'm helping you in someone else's class, so you just roll with the punches.
In normal cases, when people know something bad is going to stay with their life, they will get into a really bad mood. And how did Mr. Mann get
The
over all
only
of
person
these
that's cleaning
and
up
learn
when
to
you
control
smash
his mood?
stuff is me, and that's even worse. I drop these little baby aspirin because I take an 81 milligram little baby aspirin every morning. I tipped over the whole bottle one time, all over the floor. I was very, very angry because those little baby aspirin, now that had to be picked up, I could have been there for 3, 4 hours picking up each one of them. So then I thought to myself, how can I solve this problem? Took a piece of paper, shuffled them all into the paper, folded the paper, poured it into the bottle. Didn't mean I wasn't angry with that, but I solved a problem because I wanted the baby aspirin. I needed them. So um, there are days that I'm frustrated. Takes me a lot longer to get things done. Um, I have all these wonderful gardens around my house and that I put in, and now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to mulch them, I have to clean them up, I have to, after the winter and so forth, it's like weeks and weeks to get these back